Welcome back to our summer NFL mini-series, Learning the United States Through Football. So far in this series, we've explored the famous rivalries of the NFC East and the dramatic contrasts of the AFC East. Today, we're heading to the American Midwest for one of the oldest and most tradition-rich divisions in the NFL, the NFC North. Imagine it's late November in the United States. Outside, the air is cold. In many places, snow has already begun to fall. Inside, families are gathering around the dinner table to celebrate Thanksgiving. The turkey is almost ready, children are playing, and somewhere in the house, a television is showing football. For millions of Americans, one team has become part of that Thanksgiving tradition: the Detroit Lions. For generations, families have watched the Lions play on Thanksgiving Day. Win or lose, it's become part of the holiday itself. That tradition tells us something important about the NFC North. In this division, football isn't just entertainment, it's family history. It's something parents share with their children and grandparents share with their grandchildren. So today, we'll travel around the Great Lakes, visiting 4 teams whose identities have been shaped by hard work, cold winters, and communities that have supported them for generations. Welcome to the American Midwest. The Midwest is one of the largest regions of the United States. It's known for its friendly communities, rich farmland, manufacturing, and 4 very distinct seasons. Warm summers give way to colorful autumns, followed by long, snowy winters, and then the arrival of spring. Many of America's largest freshwater lakes, the Great Lakes, are found here. These lakes have shaped the history, economy, and culture of the region for centuries. The NFC North brings together 4 states connected by those lakes: Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Minnesota. Although each state has its own unique identity, they also share many similarities. People often describe the Midwest as hardworking, practical, and welcoming. The Midwest is one of the main geographic regions of the U.S. While different people define its borders slightly differently, it generally includes states in the north-central part of the country. It's a region known for agriculture, manufacturing, and a reputation for friendly, down-to-earth communities. Those qualities are reflected in many of the football teams we'll visit today. The NFC North is also one of the NFL's oldest divisions. Some of these rivalries have existed for nearly a century. For many years, people even nicknamed it the Black and Blue Division. That wasn't an official name. It came from the physical style of football played here. Games were often tough, defensive battles played in cold weather. Players finished games covered in mud, grass stains, and bruises, or black and blue marks on their skin. Today, the game is faster and safer than it was decades ago, but the division's reputation for toughness remains. And actually, that style of play goes beyond the NFL and is a feature of college football from the region as well. Our journey today begins in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit is often called the Motor City because it became the center of the American automobile industry. Companies like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler helped build millions of cars here, earning Detroit a place in history as one of the world's great manufacturing cities. That hard-working spirit has always been part of the Detroit Lions. The Lions are one of the oldest NFL franchises, and for much of their history, they've been known for something that their fans know all too well: patience. For decades, Detroit supporters remained loyal despite many losing seasons and countless disappointments. Yet we never gave up. Perhaps that's why the team's recent success has felt so emotional. After years of waiting, Lions fans are finally watching a team capable of competing with the very best. As a lifelong Lions fan myself, I have to agree. I spent my childhood watching the Lions lose year after year with my grandfather. Now, he passed away 20 years ago, and every time the Lions win, every time they end the season with a winning record, I wish he could have seen this Lions team with me. It's been worth the wait. And of course, no discussion of the Lions is complete without Thanksgiving. Since 1934, Detroit has hosted a Thanksgiving Day game almost every year, making it one of the longest-running traditions in American sports. For many families, Thanksgiving simply wouldn't feel complete without football in Detroit. The Lions remind us that traditions aren't always about winning championships. Sometimes they're about showing up every year, creating memories, and bringing people together. If we must, our next stop is Green Bay, Wisconsin. If you've never heard of Green Bay before, that's okay. Most Americans also haven't. Here's something that might surprise you. Green Bay is by far the smallest city in the NFL. While most professional sports teams represent large metropolitan areas with millions of people, Green Bay has a population of only about 100,000. Many international listeners are surprised to learn that one of the NFL's most successful teams comes from one of its smallest cities. So how has Green Bay remained a football powerhouse for more than a century? The answer is simple: the community. The Green Bay Packers are unique in American professional sports because they are community-owned. Instead of one billionaire or a group of investors owning the team, more than 500,000 people own small shares of the Packers. A shareholder is a person who owns a small part or share of a company or organization. In the Packers' case, owning a share doesn't make someone rich. Shareholders can't sell their stock for a profit or receive dividends like they might with a normal company. Instead, it's a symbolic way for fans to help preserve the team's future in Green Bay. It's one of the reasons Packers fans often say the team truly belongs to the community. The Packers also play at Lambeau Field, one of the most famous stadiums in the world. Because of its freezing winter weather, football fans have nicknamed it the Frozen Tundra. On some winter days, games are played in temperatures well below freezing, creating unforgettable scenes of snow, ice, and devoted fans bundled in layers of green and gold. And probably with a cheese head. That is a hat shaped like a block of cheese. The Packers have also been home to some of football's greatest names, including legendary coach Vince Lombardi, whose name now appears on the Vince Lombardi Trophy awarded each year to the Super Bowl champions. More recently, quarterbacks Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers continued Green Bay's tradition of excellence, helping keep this small city on the national stage. Now, from the smallest city in the NFL, let's head south to one of America's largest. Welcome to Chicago, Illinois. Chicago sits on the shores of Lake Michigan and is the third largest city in the United States. It's famous for its architecture, deep dish pizza, blues music, and impressive skyline, all of which you can hear more about in my episode dedicated entirely to Chicago. The Chicago Bears are one of the NFL's founding franchises and have been part of professional football almost since the very beginning. If there's one word that has traditionally defined the Bears, it's defense. For decades, Chicago became known for tough, physical football. Their greatest team may have been the 1985 Bears, a squad many fans still consider one of the greatest defensive teams in NFL history. Another legendary figure is Walter Payton, often remembered not only as one of football's greatest running backs, but also as one of its most respected people. Even today, the NFL's Walter Payton Man of the Year Award recognizes players for their community service and charitable work, reminding us that character off the field can be just as important as performance on it. Our final stop takes us north to Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Minnesota Vikings joined the NFL in 1961, and their name reflects the region's history. During the 19th century, many immigrants from Norway, Sweden, and Denmark settled in the broader Midwest, but specifically in Minnesota. Their traditions, culture, and heritage continue to influence the region today. That's why the team chose the name Vikings. It's a tribute to those Scandinavian roots. Today, Vikings fans proudly wear purple and gather before games to perform the famous Skål chant. If you've ever watched a home game in Minnesota, you've probably seen tens of thousands of fans raising their arms together and shouting, Skål! It's an unforgettable sight and one of the NFL's most recognizable traditions. Minnesota is also known for the expression, Minnesota nice. People often use this phrase to describe the state's reputation for politeness, friendliness, and helping neighbors. Whether every Minnesotan agrees with that stereotype is another question, but it's become an important part of the state's identity. Like the Bills in Buffalo, Vikings fans have experienced their share of heartbreak. The team has come close to winning a Super Bowl several times, but has never captured its first championship. Still, every season begins with hope, and the fans continue to fill the stadium wearing purple, believing this could finally be the year. As we've traveled through the NFC North, one thing becomes clear. These four teams are different in many ways. Detroit represents grit, resilience, and tradition. Green Bay shows the power of community. Chicago reflects history and toughness. Minnesota celebrates heritage and loyalty. Yet they all have something in common. In this part of the United States, football is more than a game. It's everyday life. It's passed from one generation to the next, creating memories that families share for decades. Of course, no discussion of the NFC North would be complete without talking about its rivalries. All of the rivalries are with the Green Bay Packers. The greatest, I guess, is between the Packers and the Chicago Bears. These two teams have been playing each other for more than 100 years, making it the oldest rivalry in the NFL. Every meeting is about much more than the standings. It's about history, tradition, and pride. The Lions, Packers, Bears, and Vikings have all spent decades competing against one another. Because they've shared the same division for so long, every victory feels a little sweeter, and every defeat is a little harder to forget. Today, the NFC North is one of the NFL's most exciting divisions. Last season, I think we were the only division where every team finished above 500. And in the NFL, having the same number of wins and losses is hard. It's a big deal. Detroit lately has emerged as one of the league's top teams after years of rebuilding. And this coming season, we're really hoping to get back to those superior ways. The Green Bay Packers appear to have found another promising young quarterback, continuing a tradition that has lasted for decades. The Minnesota Vikings remain a competitive team capable of challenging anyone on the right day. And the Chicago Bears are hoping a new generation of coaches and players can return one of the NFL's oldest franchises to championship contention. One of the things I love most about the NFC North is that every team feels connected to its community. Because we're not just fan bases full of transplants, people who moved to New York City or people who moved to Washington or people who moved to Miami. We're a fan base full of people who have supported these teams year after year, generation after generation. In Detroit, football is part of Thanksgiving. In Green Bay, the fans literally own the team. In Chicago, generations of supporters proudly remember one of football's most historic franchises and most memorable people. And in Minnesota, Scandinavian heritage lives on every Sunday through the skull chant and a sea of purple and Viking helmets. These aren't just football teams. They're symbols of the places they represent. And that's one of the reasons the NFL is such an interesting way to learn about the United States. Every division tells a different story. The AFC East taught us about dramatic contrasts. The NFC North teaches us about tradition. It's about communities built around the Great Lakes, families who have supported the same team for generations, and people who gather every autumn to cheer, celebrate, and sometimes suffer together. Now I'm curious. Have I convinced you to be a Detroit Lions fan yet? Nah, I'm just kidding. Here's what I'm really curious about. If you could experience one NFC North football tradition, which would you choose? Watching the Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving? Visiting the frozen tundra of Green Bay? Cheering for the Bears in historic Chicago? Or joining the Vikings skull chant in Minnesota? Let me know. Thanks for listening to the Sharing English podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you'd subscribe, leave a rating or review, and share the podcast with a friend who's also learning English. You can find out more about me and the podcast at our website, www.sharing-english.com. New episodes of the Sharing English podcast are available weekly wherever you listen to podcasts. As always, let me know, what topics are you interested in hearing more about? Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep sharing English.